Texas Cheer Liquor Studios. It's in the building with Mike Taylor and Rudy J.
Lads, be happy to know that I've got local coffee in my hand.
man. Local coffee.
Local coffee, not from local coffee that's local.
I like it.
Tastes
Is that the one down the street? This one right
terrible. Not good.
Wait,
I tried
it's
to
not
support
this one. It's not this little food
independent-
truck, right?
No, that place is good. I tried to mix it up. So last week I found another place right down the street here from the Southtown 101 Pub Sports Radio Studios.
The little walkout one with the bench chairs? No.
It's indoor. They have outdoor seating. You know, I don't want to say the name.
No, that's cool.
I walked, it's about half a block this way, and went down there the other day, had a cortado. Tasted good. And I liked the lady. She owned the place and had a cute little spot. I told Nina we should come back here. So we will. And this morning I'm driving in. I haven't had any coffee yet. I'm thinking, okay, well, because I'm trying to wait before I drink my coffee. Because I've read, Rudy, that you should not drink coffee right away when you wake up.
No, 16 ounces of water first.
You should hydrate, let your body naturally wake itself up, wait at least an hour.
I agree
So I've
with
been
that.
trying to wait. And so I drove to the studio and thought, all right, I'm going to go grab a coffee. There's no Starbucks in Southtown because the neighborhood's too cool to have a Starbucks in it. And so I went down here to my little lady that I went to last week. She ain't open on Mondays. See, that's a problem.
Consistency.
I drink coffee on Mondays too. And a lot of small mom and pop places are not open on Monday
They pick their
because
day,
they don't make money, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I went across the street over here. They're open. I had a wad of change in my pocket. They don't take cash. See, I try.
You know what? These are legit gripes.
Yeah.
It's legit gripes with the small business man, woman.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things we're also a small business that we have to consider when we're asking people to support us.
You and I do too.
Yeah, so I said we.
Even on our business.
Yeah, even our business.
Sure.
So there's some legit gripes with certain small businesses.
Correct.
That they can't take personally, take as constructive criticism, and try to make the changes necessary to keep people coming through the doors, because they may not get you back. And that's the thing with small business, man. Like, your first impression is everything. Everything. Because you may only get one shot. Like, I don't know. Are you going to go back?
No. Not to this place, because it doesn't taste very good.
Okay.
I'm not kidding you. I don't love it. Because they're probably known for all of their frou-frou drinks. I'm probably one of 3 people all day that come and just get a cup of coffee with cream. And I don't love it. I don't love the brew. It's real bitter and it's too bold. I'll probably take 3 dumps tomorrow because I won't take one all day today because I'll be stopped up, unfortunately. And I get it. We're a small business and we make decisions too that we know are not popular.
We
have to
get feedback.
Yeah, but this place is very nice. They're probably paying a lot of money in rent.
Oh gosh.
It's a very cool place. It's very big.
Square foot ain't cheap.
Right. I walk in there, they don't take cash. Okay. But there's a jar on the table
with tips
that you can tip. Okay, you'll take my tip cash, but I can't use cash to buy coffee.
Not good.
This little spot we go to down here, the truck,
I like them.
They take cash, and the coffee's good going back there. And the little lady here to my left, who I liked last week, she ain't open on Monday. See, these are problems.
Definitely.
Again, anyway, I'm bitching right off the top. How
It's
y'all
all good.
doing? Welcome. Thank you for jumping in here. Cash is a dying concept. Not at Team Taylor's house, it ain't.
I hear you, Eddie. I do. I mean, I think the zoo is
It's not dying.
The zoo is about to go cashless.
The penny is dying. The zoo's about to go all cashless.
The zoo is about to go cashless.
Mm-hmm. I get that, but you know why? Because they charge a lot of money. It's not cheap to go to the zoo. You're not going to go in there because it's probably $25-$30 a head to get into the zoo. And then if you buy a drink and nachos, and I love Tim Morrill, he's a buddy of mine, the CEO, but he's charging probably $10 for nachos, $8 for a Coke. I'm not going to take $300 in cash into the zoo.
Yeah, and
so I get that.
But if you're a small business,
$3 for coffee.
No, if you're a small business, you have to take every form.
Yeah,
every form.
I agree.
Every single form, because you're trying to get over the hump.
Now, I don't like change either, Raul. Raul says he hates change. I just wanted to give $3. You know, I don't like change either. You can't get rid of it. So, and I had a shit ton in my car.
You sound like my granddad.
And
I could hear my granddad coming from a mile away because he always had a pocket full of change.
I gathered my
Always.
change today, went over there to get rid of it to buy this cheap coffee, and they don't take cash. But she'll take my tip in cash, however. Okay. Good morning. It is in the building, live from the Southtown 101 studios, Pub Sports Radio, inside the Texas Cheer Liquor studios. The audio disseminator is Jose Bouquet. It is Monday as we come on this show. And Rudy and I hung out this weekend, which I thought was very cool. Had a lot of fun doing that.
Mike met my whole damn family.
I met your mom finally, which was very cool. You got any of the video or the photos handy there, Bookie? I'd like to walk through some of these if we can.
Yeah.
There we go. There's me and Rudy.
All right, I want to thank Mr.
Oh, you got video and everything.
And all of the Zulus of San Antonio, Texas, for inviting us out to hang out at Taste of New Orleans.
It was a great time, man. I'm stuffed though.
Had some gator, had some turkey, had some crawfish. The etouffee.
Mine was a catfish.
Oh, I didn't have that.
Hot sauce. And this year there's no tickets. The last pass. Put all your money on here and then go swipe or tap.
And a whole lot of beer. I had that too.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thanks, Zulus. See y'all next year.
In the building, baby.
Be happy Fiesta.
You know what's crazy about us? You know what's crazy about us, Bookie? You got two 50-year-old men. It's crazy how we think now. If me and Mike are together, the first thing Mike says to me, we got to do a bit. It's like we're out of the realm of, hey, man, let's just go have a good time. Mm-hmm. Now, if me and Mike are together, we're running tape. I don't care where we're at. Like, you want to do something? Let's do something.
Well, we're busy guys. Yeah. When we're together, we might as well take advantage of it, right?
I thought you were about to say, like, oh, we always think about Buki. Send it to Buki. Get Buki.
We do. Mike said, hey, I'm gonna get one vertical. I'm gonna get one horizontal. Him and Nina were running tape. He's running tape when he's just with Nina. It's just like, it's all. My wife's like, hey, babe, you need to blah blah blah. Like it's a constant cycle of content. Like we really we might need to get matching tattoos that say content is king. Because Lord,
that is true.
Good times though. Good times. That's always good to see Nina.
Okay, this guy here, dude. Okay, you weren't here yet. We got there a little early because I live right down the street from.
I took the parking ride, so it took me a little bit longer.
I want to ask you how that went.
Okay, go ahead.
Right, so we show up, and there's back behind the stage, in the VIP.
Yeah,
there's a section back there. And they're just giving out free beer, right? You can go back there and rest. There's a restroom.
Yeah.
You can kind of get away. And first of all, thank you to John Hearn and everybody at the Zulus for hooking me and Rudy up with passes. Super cool. And they don't have to do that. And they like our little stupid show, and they let us come in for free, and it was great. So there's that. Pull back the curtain. Yeah, we got in free, and we got VIP. But I go back to the back, and I hear, Mike Taylor! And I look over, and I walk over, and at first I thought, I think I've seen this guy somewhere before. And I walk up to him and I'm like, okay, God, I've seen this dude somewhere before. And he's like, you know who I am, don't you? I'm the Uber driver. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, this guy right here.
This is a crazy story. You told me and my wife this story Saturday.
So this guy right here was the Uber driver to Nina and my first date ever.
That's insane.
In April of 2023. I took Nina out on a date for the first time.
To the gala.
Took her to a charity gala with the Miracle League over at the Whitty Museum. And I called an Uber because we were staying downtown at Hotel Indigo. I didn't want to drive, so it was just half a mile. Called an Uber. Uber driver's like, you're Mike Taylor. So we chopped it up. He's thundered on, blah, blah, blah. This is 2023. And that's where I ran into him. However, we talk to this guy all the time because there... That's Finnegan.
And he's in the chat already.
He said,
that's me.
How about that?
What's up, Finnegan?
I don't know if you want us to give you real names, so I'm going to just roll with Finnegan.
Yeah, let's just roll with Finnegan.
That's Finnegan, who was serving beer in the VIP. How about that? That's badass.
And it's crazy that you run into him and this guy took y'all on y'all's first date and Nina's with you.
Great. Yeah, Nina was with me. Awesome. It was so cool. So it was very cool. I wanted to get a photo with him. Shout out to Finnegan. Thank you, man, for the support.
And the donations and everything else.
Yeah, very cool. And just a great time we had out there. I did meet your mom.
My mother-in-law.
You had your mother-in-law.
Both of my sisters.
All your babies. Everybody.
All three of my daughters.
The future son-in-law. You keep calling him.
Son-in-law. I love that kid.
As you put pressure on this poor guy because he hasn't even proposed yet you keep calling him your future son-in-law.
They're lovebirds. It's almost gross. They're lovebirds.
All right. Well, it was awesome. I was in a Rudy family love fest and had a great time. And as always, the Taste of New Orleans puts on a kick-ass show. And
great time. Bands were great.
Bands are always great.
I doubt Mike ate the rest of the weekend. Cause did you eat anything yesterday?
Took it easy yesterday.
I knew you did.
Because I had fried gator on Saturday.
You had that turkey leg was bigger than your quad.
I had a whole turkey leg. Yes, sir. Even had rib tips.
You had some good crawfish etouffee.
Had some etouffee. Yeah, posted a video of me eating the etouffee. Had a bunch of beer. Had a little whiskey. And here's the thing. We didn't stop when we got home.
You didn't?
Nina wanted to go back out. So we went to a couple of beer joints after we got home.
Good for y'all.
Dude, so we had a good time. So Saturday, I took it easy and had a protein shake.
Good. I knew you did.
And Panda. I had Panda.
Yeah.
Small bowl.
But as far as
steamed rice, not fried.
Yeah. The parking ride is amazing.
Okay, I wanted to ask. It wasn't an ass whip?
I parked at Dave & Buster's, the crossroads where Via is. Bus had the lights on it. It said Taste of New Orleans. You hop on it. It's 60-something cents a person.
All right.
Go over there, and they were running all the way and said, hey, once we got on the bus to go to the Taste, they said the last bus is leaving from the Taste at 11:30, so make sure you're on that one. Went down, waited, once we finished at the Taste, waited maybe 5 minutes. The bus to go back to Crossroads was there. You didn't have to worry about trying to come down there and find, because parking down there is a pain in the butt. Mm-hmm. So it's much easier to just get the valet from the Via. They let you right off at the entrance, pick you up right at the entrance.
Okay.
So I loved it. That was my first time ever doing that.
Y'all had 10 of y'all.
Yeah, it was 10 of us. We all hopped on the same Via.
All fine.
All fine, man. Great time.
Okay.
Well, now Oyster Bake probably had 20 buses running.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's the Oyster Bake, but that's probably going to be what we do going forward. This way I don't have to try and find parking and walk a mile to get there. Great times this weekend.
Via thanks you for your service.
Yeah, shout out to Via.
It's Via, right?
Yeah,
They're
it's
the ones
Via.
That put on the
Hell
park.
yeah. Shout out to Via.
Dude, we take the bus all the time when I'm in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because I don't always want to rent a car because it's expensive. And you have to park the car overnight. It's $35 at the hotel.
Dude, when did hotels start doing that?
Sons of bitches. They price gouge
every night. I went to
there.
Houston last year and they were like, if you want to do Via, it's like $40 a night. $40 a night.
Right. Yeah.
That's another $120.
For sure. So it takes a little longer, but for $5, me and my kiddos can ride around the entire city of Waikiki all day long, So it takes a little longer, but so what? We ride the bus all the time. So shout out to Via. Park and ride worked out great. I worried about y'all hauling all those people you had.
Yeah, no, it worked out fine.
Okay, cool. I hope that son-in-law helped out, did his job.
No, he's the one that brought all the chairs.
Oh, my man. Okay.
My man. I love that kid.
Very good. All right, so thank you once again to the Zulus, the San Antonio Zulu
what
organization
up, Zulu?
Who puts
Gave
on
us 2 cool Fiesta medals, too.
Yeah, I got it at home right now. Yeah, I wore it all day yesterday. Very badass. Thank you guys very, 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 very much. Finnegan says parking ride at Stone Oak, though, was a joke. I was the only one on the bus there and back. That's because people in Stone Oak don't park and ride.
They ain't parking there. But I'd have rather been on the bus empty, so whatever.
All right, it is in the building. You can jump in here. Please like us, please share us, and please donate via the Super Chat, the Buy Me a Coffee link. Subscribe for free on Love You Hard TV and all of our partners, Anthem TV, our audio versions, part of the Believe Podcast Network. And you can also become a member for just $4.99 a month. The basic Tier 1 membership is $4.99 a month. And we got a members only coming up here today before we're done.
You hear that, members?
Hint, hint, wink, wink.
You know what? You're right, Tina G. I need to start doing that for UTSA games, too. Probably be
the park and ride?
But the thing is, I always have a media pass with the parking.
Oh, look at this guy.
No, I'm not. It's a fact. It's not bragging if it's a fact.
I didn't have Final Four parking. I had passes.
Yeah, and we parked here.
I parked here.
We parked here and
walked. And walked my happy ass for
Damn
about
right.
a mile. And I was fine with it because I got my steps in trying to
exactly.
Yeah, that walk sobers me up from the UTSA tailgates back to my car.
Those UTSA tailgates.
I wouldn't
wild.
have any problem, though, parking and riding. We live inside the loop. So
you're right there.
We don't really need to, but like if I lived where you did and had all them baby girls and mama and everybody, that was why. That was a good move. All right, Ribaldo Realty Group. That is a good move. That is a wise decision if you are in the market to buy or sell homes. It is springtime. We're in April, and this is the season when a lot of people that put their house up for sale, they want to get it done, which means that sellers are enthusiastic because they want to get it done before summertime. And we got a guy put his house on the market a couple of weeks ago.
Thunderdome.
Who's a subscriber in the building, and he called my man Jay Ribaldo to help him list this thing. So there it is right there. Think you're right on cue. It's over on Civilian Road. This is a 2-story home that this guy, I don't want to give his name, he has totally redone this house. The upstairs carpet, completely brand new. It's being listed at $242,000. That's a $500,000 home 1 hour up the road in Austin. So see this house and all the other listings. So if you're looking to buy a home, sellers are enthusiastic in the springtime because they don't want to fool with it in the hot months. Jay Ribaldo, go look at all of his listings at Ribaldo.com. You can email him, jribaldo@kw.com, or go to his listings and see all of his stuff at Ribaldo.com. It is Ribaldo.com. All right, we have waited enough before we get into football.
You pulled out the phone. I'm worried.
Well, I'm pulling out the Cowboys draft picks here.
Okay, let's do it.
Because we got some names that are hard to pronounce.
No kidding.
And I'm going to have to get used to one of them, though, because he's going to be a player for this team for a while.
They drafted the all-Nigerian team.
That's a good strategy.
Did he give Jerry a spear as a gift when he got off the airplane?
What the hell, dog? I'm coming up with nicknames already.
I don't want to be racist, but if you want people to get the quarterback, just put his ass on the ground, get you some Nigerians.
Gosh damn right.
All right. Look, man, so I don't know that I'm going to have to get – so some of these names toward the bottom, well, we'll see if these kids make the team or not. 6th, 7th round picks.
Who knows?
But I need to learn how to say Easy's name for sure. We're going to call him Easy for now. Donovan Ezeraiku.
I'm calling him Easy D. Easy D.
So the Cowboys took Tyler Booker, which we talked about this on Friday morning. Stud, badass right guard from Belma, who I think he'll be the starting right guard for the Cowboys for the next 5 seasons, no doubt, at least minimum. And then in the second round, they took Donovan Ezeraiku from Boston College. He's an edge. And I looked at all the film on him, read all I could read on him, looked at interviews with him. I did my own interview process.
Your own deep dive.
This dude's a beast. He's going to be a helper. Probably will start this year.
You see, guys, there's some nice things coming out of Mike Taylor's mouth about the Dallas Cowboys. Get out y'all's feelings.
Yeah, that's right. So write it down.
We keep it real around here.
Yeah. Record the date, okay? Because I thought the Cowboys had a damn good draft. And then they took Siobhan Revel. Did a deep dive on him, the East Carolina corner. Now, he's hurt, but he should be fine. They expect him to start the season on PUP, which they're not worried about him missing training camp. Not crazy about that. He got hurt late in the year. But, man, he's a mother jammer. He can play. He had first-round talent, and he slipped because of the injury. And I don't love taking risk on guys that have injury issues. Like, was it Jalen Ramsey? No. Jalen.
No, you talking about the kid from Notre Dame.
Notre Dame linebacker.
Yeah.
Smith. I didn't want anything to do with him.
And then he had a good season, 1 or 2.
He had 1 or 2, and then they paid him, and then his leg went to shit. His knee went to shit.
Shout out to Jerry for changing his life.
And he got lazy, but I ain't trying to change people's lives.
No, I mean, Jerry did.
I'm trying to win playoff games. I'm trying to win playoff games, and that was a dumbass thing to do. I read all I could possibly read as a civilian. I like Siobhan Revel. I think he's going to be a helper on this team. I think he's a starting corner on this team, at least in year 2. And I'm fond of Jaden Blue, the Longhorn running back. They got him in the 4th round, And I can't speak for anybody after that.
They needed a running back. And they got him in the round that Mike likes.
4th round. That's when you take
when you take running backs.
I'm not saying he's going to make the Pro Bowl. I'm not even saying he's going to start for the Cowboys.
But he can be a good, complementary piece to a bowl of running backs.
I agree. Yeah. Jaden Blue is a good complimentary guy.
Who knows? He may turn out to be a stud. I'm just saying, but that's when you take those risks.
This is how you draft running backs. You don't take fucking Deuce Vaughn because his daddy plays for the team. You don't take Ashton Junty in the 1st round, and you don't take people's sons because they work for you. In the 4th or 5th round, you take a running back from a blue blood school. And so I don't know and the rest of the draft, I've never heard of these people, but here's where they went to school. Florida, Oregon, UCLA, Clemson, Maryland.
I like
it. Thank you. Take kids from big schools.
And coach them up.
And coach them up. They got talent already. They wouldn't have Schollies at Florida and fucking Oregon, right? So that's it. I thought the Cowboys kicked ass.
A?
Mark the tape. A. And don't you agree? In pretty much any draft, if you get 2 starters out of any draft, that's a damn good draft.
I think so. It's so important because you have your guys that you have to take care of. Mm-hmm. Like, Philly and the Chiefs are great because they have guys producing on rookie deals. Mm-hmm. If your guys don't produce on rookie deals, you're never going to get over the hump. So you got to hit there because Trayvon Diggs, you know what I mean, Dak, Micah, CD. You got 7 guys that take up so much of the cap that if your rookie contract guys aren't producing, you're never going to get there. So hopefully these guys pan out. I give everybody 3 years. 3 years, let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But the only problem is sometimes, Jerry, after 3 years, Jerry ends up just liking who you are, and they pay you, Gallup, Smith, who we just talked about.
Yep.
Like, hey,
Zeke.
Take your feelings out of it and let those rookies walk and bring in another one.
Jerry has been running his team with his feelings for far too long.
Yeah.
And therein lies problem number 1.
Right.
That I always have with them. This does not mean I think they're going to win the Super Bowl next year, but I'm not going to come up here. I'm not a fucking Cowboys hater. You
speak your truth.
And
you know what I mean?
And my truth should be everybody's truth when it comes to football. All right. It is in the building. Please jump in here with a donation. Aaron Canooper's in the building. $9.99. Viva Fiesta. Here's some beer money. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Aaron.
Much. Appreciate you hard. All right, I've got this thing right here.
What is this? What am I looking at?
This is a beautiful hot off the presses flyer. Like a pamphlet. What do you call this? My boys at Lone Star Nano.
Oh, okay.
Just released this. It is so go Nano. Revolutionize your house. Revolutionize your property and the longevity by going nano. This is advanced technology solutions for homes. HOAs will do business with Lone Star Nano and have all the homes in the neighborhood treated with this stuff. They do apartment buildings, commercial properties. These people at Lone Star will add 10 to 15 years to the life of your roof. They also treat driveways, by the way. You see driveways get all nasty and busted up.
Mine's terrible right now.
Is it all greased up and stuff?
Yeah,
Call Dale, man.
Yeah, I might need to hit Dale up.
Yeah, for sure. They come out and they put this stuff on your roof and or your driveway, and it protects your roof from this volatile Texas weather. Go Nano and preserve your roof for years and years. This will actually help you not have to replace your roof for a long-ass time. A lot of times, eventually a roof's going to have to get replaced. That's all there is to it after 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
But a lot of people feel like, I need to replace my roof. It's only 15 years old. Nah, not necessarily. Get my boys at Lone Star Nano to come out and take care of your roof. And it's a free inspection when you mention in the building, and I will personally come out and look at it myself with you and these boys at Lone Star. All right. Look, I like Jaden Blue. Cowboys brought in a couple of journeymen. Their running back situation still not very good. Mm-hmm. Makes about as and the way they handled it last year, rolling with what's his face, can't even remember his damn name anymore. And then they bring Zeke back. That made about as much sense as a trap door on a kayak. It was terrible. It was dumbass. So I'm just not a Cowboys hater. But this is how you do it. You draft badass linemen in the first couple of rounds. You take flyers on running backs in the mid rounds from these blue collar schools like Texas. And then maybe you trade for a runner, or you and then you go sign a wide receiver in free agency. They still need somebody to complement CeeDee Lamb. Don't you think? Yeah. I don't think that kid Jalen Tolbert's ready to be wide receiver 2.
He had moments, but I don't know what he's going to be. It just depends on his work ethic.
Well, you know who they're going to hire? They're going to call an old friend back. An old friend that's very small, runs routes really well.
Amari Cooper?
Oh, yeah.
Is he free?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. That guy's year to year now.
Is he? Yeah, he is. He's become something of a mercenary here later in his career. Hey, man, I mean, Cooper knows Dak. It ain't like he'd have to come fit in, Yeah. By the way, people are acting like, Taylor loves a Cowboy. Every year this happens in springtime, he's back in love with him. So you know what? Fuck it. You know what else? I'll say something else. I've watched a lot of, and Rudy's going to oh, my God, roll his eyes.
What?
I'm going to give, and I wasn't happy at all about this on the day they announced it, because he's never even been a head coaching candidate anywhere else ever. He only got into coaching because his dad was a coach.
Okay.
I'm going to give Shoddy a shot. I'm going to give Shoddy a shot.
I think that's fair.
I'm gonna give
him a
Shotty
shot. Like, let him. That's all I ask in most of these things, and we'll talk about it. Like, there's been hundreds of dudes, players and coaches, that have just been given the chance to fail. Let's give him a chance to fail.
Right.
But once he fails, we tear him to shreds. But as for now, let's just give him a fair shake. Clean slate. Let's see what happens. I'm cool with that.
I like his attitude.
I don't know why I don't know why Jerry gave him a shot and nobody else would, but let's give him a shot.
All right, so I'm going to say something here, and y'all are going to flip out.
Oh, boy.
He reminds me of Dan Campbell.
Well, sir.
Time out. I see. Here you go, flipping out. I'm not saying he's going to have the success that Dan's had. And who knows? Maybe he's being, because when his press conference, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's just up there saying what he thinks he needs to say, acting all rah, all cussing and all this kind of shit and all. But I've thought about it, Rudy, honestly, and I've watched him do a few interviews. I watched a couple of calls that the Cowboys released. I love, you know how I love seeing when they call these kids when they draft them. That shit makes me.
Yeah.
I love these kids. They start crying. Their mama's there, and you can just imagine the journey that these kids have taken. And then to have Jerry Jones call you on the phone, man, that's fucking cool.
That's
you
awesome,
know,
for sure.
And so I eat those phone calls up. Watching Shotty's phone calls, a couple of interviews he's done. His approach is very Dan Campbell-like. I'm not saying he's going to have the success Dan Campbell's going to have. And God knows Dan, and I've said this before, the reason why Dan can be Dan in Detroit is because Mrs. Ford, she don't give a shit. She lets these people do what they need to do. When you're the coach of the Cowboys, you don't just, you got the old man always on your left shoulder. You know what I mean? And so, and it's a detriment. Maybe Brian Schottenheimer is green enough, raw enough, and inexperienced enough to, in a weird ass way, maybe he could make it work with Jerry.
So with Dan,
does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying, but with Dan, it's not about the success. It's about, are these guys? Because see, the thing that Dan has mastered is these guys will do anything for him, whether it be like, hey, I know you're normally a corner. I need you to play safety. Hey, I know you used to playing 65 snaps, but for this team, I need you to play 30.
Right.
Hey, I know y'all are dog tired, but let's do this one more time. Like, willing to run through a wall for Dan Campbell. That's whether it correlates into wins doesn't matter if you have the team's ear, and eventually you get over the hump. Now, Mike Cheque says, well, hopefully it's not, playoff Dan Campbell, but Dan Campbell has been to a conference championship, something that I don't think the Dallas Cowboys have done in a while. So if he can just have the room and have everybody buy in, eventually you get over the hump. So that, to me, is the mark of a good coach.
Look, Fico triples down on. Campbell is the most overrated coach in the history of the NFL. He sucks.
How? I don't agree with that. I don't want to lose the show on Dan Campbell, but
it's all that over-the-top confidence that he coaches with.
Maybe going for it too much and too much of a riverboat gambler, but
no question. Stubborn,
sucks
being
with
stubborn.
With 7 U's? No, he doesn't.
He doesn't suck. Those guys in Detroit will they will do anything he asks them to do. Here's the thing with Dan. We're going to find out really, as I think he's a good coach. I love his attitude, and it's the Lions. You might as well go wild card, bring in the long-haired redneck from Texas, and just let him be crazy and shit.
If the Cowboys had chosen him over McCarthy, they may be in a different spot.
Maybe. Here's what he's dealing with this year. He's had to replace both of his coordinators.
That's tough.
That's huge.
That's tough
in Detroit this year. Huge. But you don't have the success that Dan's had the last 2 seasons. Now, granted, we can talk about the playoff meltdowns and all that shit, and how maybe he's overconfident. Maybe he's not Bill Belichick when it comes to X's and O's, but he commands the room.
Right.
That's the Cowboys could certainly.
Are you a leader of men? I hate to be cliche.
Absolutely. Dan could be if he got hired to manage if he got a bar or a Hulk Caterpillar facility.
They're going to get better.
They're going to get better just because his attitude's kick ass and he's not afraid of shit. You can't, but that's the thing. You can't be Dan Campbell with Dallas. Not normally. I'm just saying. Again, I'm with Rudy. I don't want to make this a psychological eval of Dan Campbell. Schottenheimer has Dan Campbell-like characteristics. Not saying it's going to work. I have no idea. but he's certainly different from McCarthy from the management and the personality. And I thought Mike did a damn good job, about as well as you can do working for Jerry. Shoddy's a completely different outside the box thing. Why not? You know, who knows? Who knows? All right, it's in the building here on Love You Hard TV and Pub Sports Radio and Anthem TV with me and Rudy. I got a pop-up coming up. I like to announce a pop-up. I got to sell barbecue tickets. All right, so this Wednesday, for you boys that are watching this thing live, what is the date? 28th?
Yep.
Okay, what is the date Wednesday? 30th? All right.
Is Wednesday the 30th?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
This Wednesday, the 30th, I'm going to be at Texas Cheer Liquor. Is it number 8 that I went to last time? The one that's centrally right there off of 410?
Yeah, let's do 8. They had that damn thief go through there, so let's go support.
Is that the one that I went to the other day?
Yeah, that's 8.
Okay, 410 and what?
Military.
Military, right there by the old mall. Cool.
Right next to the huge academy.
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to be there again. 410 and Military this Wednesday from 2 to 3. All right? It's an oddball hour. Maybe you can get away from work for 30 minutes, come over. I'm going to have a stack of tickets, and I was giving stuff away last time. Remember I had the hoodies? Tomorrow, make myself a note, I'm going to announce what I'm going to give away on Wednesday. But just be thinking ahead. It's 2 days from now. On Wednesday the 30th, I'm going to be at Texas Cheer Liquor, the same one I was at last month.
Number 8, 410
and Military. Number 8, if you want to look it up on your phone, selling VIP tickets to the barbecue. There are plenty left, and I've got their $25 for the VIP. Get you all access to the barbecue. So come buy tickets on Wednesday for me at Texas Cheer Liquor. All 410 and Military. Speaking of Texas Cheer Liquor, 2 more days. How many days are in this month? 2?
Yep.
2.
There's 2 more days to take advantage of those April specials at Texas.
Absolutely.
Cheer
2
Liquor.
more days to get into this trade. $50 can get you an $800 Traeger. You just might get lucky.
That's
so go
badass.
get you some Whistle Pigs, been marked down. And I'm telling you, my bourbon people, go get that Rossville. It's delicious. Everybody I let sample it ends up buying a bottle. I told y'all last Friday I may have sold 5-6 of those bottles. I can't remember how much it was because I could give them a sample.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that quick, $29.99. And just to have a little bit in the stash for the ladies, get you some Stella Rose for $4.99. Stock up on that. You got 2-3 more days. So get it done. And make sure you tell them in the building sent you. We get graded on this stuff.
Yes.
So Texas Cheer Liquor, and Mike will be at number 8 on Wednesday. So let's hang out.
And do not forget to mention in the building.
Please.
Only way to get the discount, all right? The 5% off all the other stuff, you have to mention in the building because AD is here to make money. Here to make money. And he wants to get a good, and a lot of y'all that support our show, we love you so much for that. But make sure you follow the rules or it doesn't count. They won't know that you came in because we sent you in there unless you say in the building. Drew Show is in the building. $5.
What up, Drew?
Calling him shoddy. Talking about his temperament and pedigree. Is Taylor talking about a head coach or a dog? Love you hard, Mike. Rudy, he's my swami.
What's a swami?
Prognosticator. Predictor.
I suck at predictions, but I'll take it.
Shit, we all got it wrong on Shedeur Sanders.
Good Lord.
Where do you want to start with that? I've tried to come to grips with what I saw all weekend.
Dude,
what was that?
While we start on this, Bookie, do me a favor. Find out which school was it that had the most wide receivers drafted.
This year?
Yes. No, 2023, Bookie. Shit.
1810.
You know, Dion
That's
and
a hard request.
Dion, Shiloh,
Mm-hmm.
and Shedeur posted a video of themselves talking about, you know, what was going on in the midst of it. This is before he got drafted, and they were like, and Shiloh, and see, people won't give Shedeur credit for this. Shiloh was like, after 21, after he slid past 21, which was Pittsburgh, he was like, I knew something was up. And Shedeur and Dion were like, I get that, but you can justify it. Like, this is Dion and Shedeur, the most cocky and arrogant people ever. Like, hey, you know what? You can make sense of that.
Mm-hmm.
I slid past 21. But now when they got past the 3rd, that's when Dion and Shedeur like, now it's just out of hand. Again, you're right. Like, hey, okay, you didn't go first. You didn't go second. You didn't go third. because when you look back, for whatever reason, the history of, quarterbacks, I can think of Russell Wilson. I can think of Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. There's just, for whatever reason, quarterbacks don't get drafted second round. It's either first, third, fifth, sixth, seventh. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For whatever reason. So after he drops past the third, that's when I just kind of like, what the hell is going on here? I don't know, Mike. I know was it McShay came out and said that Daboll, failed head coach at the Giants, said he gave him a package. Shedeur didn't do well on the package. This is according to McShay, and was pretty upset about it. And Daboll was upset that he was upset about it, so they were out on him, which is why they went with Jackson Dart in the end. But I guess there's a lot when your dad says, well, there's a few teams, Travis, and my son ain't playing for 2, 4, 5 months ago. And you don't throw in certain situations. And maybe you didn't do an interview well. And this narrative, when a narrative gets out about you, I don't care who you are, it's tough to beat it. It's tough to beat it, whether it's right or wrong. I don't think he should have failed to fifth. But I heard Louis Riddick, who I'm a big fan of, say this is what it is at this point. So now what do you do about it? But I'm kind of beat down on it. We've been talking about Shedeur. He was the talk of the draft, as 1,000 other kids that got drafted. Some of it I think is unfair. Like, oh well, I don't know why people are so offended by guys that wear jewelry. What does it matter to you that somebody wears jewelry? Even my guy Nathaniel was like, you ain't got to come blinged out. Why? Why does that Why does it bother Tom, Dick, and Hank if a kid wears jewelry? Now, if I'm the owner, if I'm a GM and I want you to represent my company a certain way and I'm going to pay you $40, $50 million, okay, but Buki sitting on his couch, why is Buki bothered? And I'm just using your name as, speaking hypothetically. I
fucking hate it, Rudy.
Yeah, like, why is Buki sitting on his couch? Why is he triggered by somebody wearing a chain? I never understood that. Like, I don't get why people hate that. So I think some of it is flashy cockiness, but then I think some of it's just like a lot of teams didn't need a quarterback. And then the few that did were turned off by him for whatever reason. That's what happened. There was only maybe 7, 8 teams that really needed him. Mm-hmm. And then when they're just like, hey, man, forget this dude. Is this that? The narrative is out. It's tough to beat that narrative. Now he's got to go out there and prove it.
I'll say this. If Shedeur Sanders was really that fucking egomaniacal, because we're talking about the NFL here, 95% of the guys in the NFL are alpha dogs. These are fucking alpha male type guys.
Right.
With massive egos, right? Mm-hmm. If he was so egotistical that even the NFL's like, nah, we don't want to deal with this shit. He did not show it in his reaction to the slide. He handled that as classy as you can.
That's good parent. That's because Deion raised them like that.
You know what? They were even
like, don't let them see you sweat.
It got so, sometimes, and we all learn this. Sometimes something happens in your life that's so embarrassing, so crazy, that you're just left finding the humor in it. Like Shiloh was joking, I didn't get drafted, so I fired Dad as the agent. I got a real agent, and I got picked up.
And he also said, Shedeur, if they doing this to you, what they going to do to me?
Right. I thought that was great.
It was great.
It was great. It is what it is. Let's just laugh about it.
Right.
The poor Shedeur, he got cost $20 million in this draft. And then you wind up still playing for the worst fucking organization in football, and they got 4 quarterbacks already on the roster.
Somebody's not making the team, right? They're not carrying 5 quarterbacks, right?
All I can say, man, is just it's unbelievable to me that his ego was that over the top. Again, but if he played linebacker, it might not have been a big a deal.
Right.
But the quarterback
is
the face of the franchise. You were about to represent our company here. Mm-hmm. And now there's reports that he sandbagged a lot of the interviews. Like he was an asshole on purpose so they would not draft.
That's what I'm saying. And
then why show up to the interview?
Yeah, if there's 8 teams that need a quarterback and you tell 4 of them, you're like, I think he kind of knew Tennessee was taking Cam, so he was like, whatever. It just puts out, like, people talk. I'm like, oh man, he didn't want to talk to us. We came in, and I gave him some homework. He didn't do his homework. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, if you want to go and start, it sucks that you just can't be, who you want to be. But it is what it is when you're coming into a private owned business. And if you don't like the way they do things, then, you can go and do your own thing. but this is the way they do business. And unfortunately, it cost them $20-30 million.
There were quarterbacks that got picked ahead of him I hadn't even heard of.
Yeah, because it comes down to like, oh man, he's for whatever reason, he's an ass, he's this, he's that.
Yeah, and he's not Arch. And if you don't have Arch's talent, or you don't have Cam Ward's talent, and there's even a little bit of doubt, like if I'm not convinced you're going to be my starter for the next 10 years, then you really I would, if you, because we're just drafting backups at this point when you're drafting guys in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. You're not going to draft a headache to be a backup. You're going to draft Cooper Rush. Oh, shucks, Gio Gali. You want generic guy as your backup, you know. It's just it's unprecedented. It had the guys on ESPN literally arguing. They were having to try to calm Mel Kiper's ass down.
Went nuclear.
Even when Reese Davis is mad at you.
When Reese is like yelling at the NFL doesn't fix this. And because Mel is taking the scab off of something that I don't think we've discussed enough. And I think Mel is 100% right. Like, first of all, Mel don't like to be made an ass of. He takes a lot of pride in the job he does. But let's just put Mel's ego aside, because that's ego. Does the NFL have a problem developing quarterbacks? Like, forget where Shador went. Like, when we look at the landscape of quarterbacks that were supposed to be something, you brought up the stats on Friday about how many of these guys have actually gone on to win a playoff game.
50%.
Yeah. I do think a lot of these teams are doing a bad job of developing quarterbacks. I think because everybody's in such a rush to win, you bringing in this kid that's never played a pro-style offense and you throw him to the wolves and it's like, it doesn't happen. And then you just say, oh, well, he sucks. It's not our fault. The guy's just a bust. That part of it, I think Mel is dead right on. Like, Mel being upset that he had him rated as the highest quarterback and he falls the 5th round looks bad on Mel Kiper. So Mel's protecting his brand and his ego. Screw that. Does the NFL have an issue developing quarterbacks? And I think the answer is a resounding yes.
The Cowboys are afraid to do it. That's why they don't draft quarterbacks in the 1st round. They're scared to death. They don't want shit to do. Oh, we ain't drafting Shador Sanders. I'm not. I mean, they could have drafted Jackson Dart and let him spend 2 years behind Dak as the backup, but they're scared. The Cowboys don't even want to try to develop a fucking quarterback. They haven't drafted a quarterback in the 1st round since 1989. The Browns just throw dog shit against the wall, hoping to get lucky, which is why they have 5 guys on their roster. If Shador Sanders had a future in the NFL, it's in massive jeopardy now.
Especially if he stays there.
In Cleveland, had he been picked up by the Rams and maybe backs up Stafford, gets to learn with Sean, because Sean McVay has proven he can develop quarterbacks. But even Sean McVay gets tired and trades his guy for another veteran in Matthew Stafford. You know, who's truly developed anybody? Trevor Lawrence he's got all world talent in Jacksonville, and he's not there. It ain't there. They're not taking care of him.
Look, it took this past season for Sam Darnold to have a coming out party. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Like, you know how long Sam Darnold was, number 2, 3 overall?
Yep.
And he finally had a breakout year this year.
Yeah.
It's insane,
You can make the case that Philly has developed Jalen Hurts.
Oh, they've done Nick Sirianni, who we hate. He's a douche. We can say that. He's a Super Bowl winning douche, but he's a douche. Done a fantastic job of putting Hurts in the best position to win.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these guys, they bring in a quarterback and they say, I know that's what you do well, but we want you to do this. No, if you're going to take him, build it and mold it around what he does well. Baltimore's done a great job with that with Lamar Jackson. Like, until you become a better passer, we'll put in packages for you that make you succeed, not try to exactly change you. Like, I know I saw Reggie Miller on all Up in Smoke, and Cheryl Miller, and coaches didn't like his shot. And then whenever they would mess with his dad, would say, don't touch his shot. Just let him be. Like, there's some cases, if you're going to invest $30 million into somebody, you might want to base the offense around what the reason why you drafted him and not try to change him. So we heard Greg Popovich. I tried to turn LaMarcus Aldridge into Kevin McHale. I was wrong. You bringing this person in because of what you've seen. And I think the NFL as a whole, majority of the NFL has done a horrible job of developing their quarterbacks and trying to make them into something they're not, and then just calling them busts and throwing them in the trash.
Turns out that's a hard position to play, huh?
It's very difficult, Mike.
It's hard to play, and it's hard to develop. And part of the reason why it's hard to develop is because it's so effing hard to play the position
It's
on an elite level.
Absolutely.
It just points toward how great Patrick Mahomes is. It points toward how hard the position is. And it also, once again, points toward how so much has to do with simply who drafts
where you go.
Dude, at this point, I don't know that Shedeur is in football in 2 years.
Because of where he's at?
Yeah.
If he's even there. If he's even there, maybe he don't even make that team.
The uncertainty.
Two of those guys are getting cut. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's going to be Pickett and him, Pickett and Gabriel and Shedeur.
Yeah,
I don't know who it's going to be,
may
but
not make the team.
Yeah, two of those guys aren't making the team.
Which means he'll go through an entire camp with Cleveland. He's going to go through the entire mini camp, spring ball, an entire training camp where he could be being developed in a system with a team that's going to keep him, only to get released at the end of the summer. And it's possible Shedeur has no team at the end of August, and he gets picked up on somebody's practice squad, and he's just starting from like nowhere. It's just no man's land. It would have been better had he not been drafted at all, so he could have just picked a team to go to.
Yeah, like his brother. Shiloh gets signed by Tampa.
Screwed.
Yeah, he did.
And if it's because of his an ego sitch, then that's shameful. That's absolutely shameful.
Now, I do agree with the man or the person that says we've seen uberly egotistical, over-the-top egotistical guys still go first round because they have things that you just like, I'm going to deal with that. But like, okay, Cam Newton, I know he had some whatever. People want to call it baggage, but he's 6'6", 240, runs a 4.4.
Yep.
He's bigger than everybody's linebackers. I'm going to just deal with the ego. You know what I mean? And so if Shedeur had all these other things that some of these egomaniacs that people like to call him have, then it wouldn't matter. So I've heard that person say that, like, hey, Rudy, because I've had some things to say about it. Rudy, if he was all world talent, they wouldn't care. And that is true. That part of it is true.
It is.
Shiloh's really good at a bunch of things, but he's not great at anything. So it makes it easy for people to be like, let's pass. And then let's pass again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So that guy, I don't consider him a hater. I think that's a legit excuse as to why 32 teams pass on him 4 times.
Jeez. Like the Steelers still don't have a starter.
Waiting around for Aaron Rodgers.
I thought
it's
for
insane.
sure they would take a flyer on Shedeur at some point. But if Shedeur really is that egomaniacal, and of course his whole life's on the fucking internet, Shedeur's is, everything they do, they post.
And you got to take that part of it though.
I know.
See, that's the part of
Tomlin.
That's the part of social media that you got to accept when the storm comes. If you're gonna throw up the wrist and y'all gonna talk shit and you're gonna throw up legendary and we bringing our own luggage and all this, when shit hits the fan, you got to take the bad with it. Like there's 2 sides to this social media and living your life in front of the public, and this is a part of it. Like a bunch of negativity comes your way as well.
Right. Clearly, the Steelers, I'm assuming, are going to sign Aaron Rodgers for a year.
They better
take a flyer. They drafted Will Howard only to be a backup. Again, that's who you take. Take the lily white stand-up kid who goes to church every Sunday and never posts anything on Instagram as our backup. You want to have
any change.
A safe pick. Yeah, I mean, poor Will Howard. I love Will Howard. That guy won a fucking national championship. He's not terrible. He's cool. He's better than Cooper Rush as a backup. But so the Steelers have what? Cooper Rush, and also the Steelers. That's a team scared to develop. Don't know how to develop. The Steelers didn't want to get caught in the same trap
he
they
went
got
to
caught
Ravens,
in 2 years ago.
Didn't he go to Ravens?
Cooper?
Yeah,
he's a Raven.
Raven. Okay,
but I'm saying like the Steelers, they drafted Will Howard.
Oh, gotcha.
In like the last round or whatever, because they're just looking for a Cooper Rush at that point.
A backup that's I'm not gonna be asked like you.
I don't have to worry about him.
That's the other problem is it wouldn't even be Shedeur's fault, Mike. You draft Shedeur, he wins the backup job. Your starter has 2 bad weeks. Now the entire press conference, Mike, is about, have you thought about going to Shedeur? And that's not Shedeur's fault. That's just the nature of the beast of being a celebrity backup.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Mike Tomlin don't want to be at like if Mike Tomlin, we just gave up 200 yards rushing and y'all asking me about Shedeur Sanders.
Yep.
And that ain't Shedeur's fault.
No. And they got burned a couple of years ago in Pittsburgh because they got to have a quarterback. And so they totally reach on Kenny Pickett. He barely had talent to be in the NFL. And you draft him in the first round. That's on Pittsburgh. And they got fucked. And so they weren't going to let that happen again this year.
He's gone now. He's a Brown. Yeah. And they let him go to his own division. That just lets you know how much they're out on him.
Even the mighty Steelers, who do it right with my guy Mike Tomlin, have no idea what they're doing at quarterback. It's hard. It's hard to develop them. It's hard to pick them. It's hard to know who's going to do it right. It's hard to play the position. Yeah. And they're not going to take a risk on a kid whose last name is Sanders, I guess. All right, let's do some punching here on In the Building, presented by the Law Office of Orlando Kell. Who would you like to punch today, sir, and why?
I got to punch head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, J.J. Redick, for thinking that he's coaching an AAU team and decides not to make one substitution in the second half of an NBA playoff game. Now, I get it. The Lakers are not deep. I get it. It's a close game. You're pretty much in a must-win. We've seen teams come back from 3-1. LeBron has done it himself. So if anybody can do it, it's LeBron and Luka. But it's still pretty much a must-win. Now, I know LeBron is Superman. I get it. This is something we've never seen. But you got to give that man a blow. He can't play. You can't play five guys the entire second half and then wonder why LeBron is 0 in the fourth quarter. Like, I'm not going to – like, a lot of LeBron haters are like, oh, man, he didn't score. LeBron – Michael Jordan would never go 0. Dude, he was dead. He was dead. Luka was passing up 3-point shots that he normally takes in his sleep.
Legs gone.
His legs were gone. I get why JJ did. Like, man, y'all going to have to go. Y'all going to have to suck it up. Bro, we're not at Duke. This ain't an AAU tournament. Like, even if it would have been like 2 minutes here, 1 minute there, 30 seconds here, you got to find a blow for them. And it bit them in the ass, and now they're down 3-1. So punch JJ Redick. That's a rookie coaching mistake. I get, again, if it was the Thunder and they're 22-23, never been in the playoff run, Luka's coming off a finals run. LeBron's coming off a 20-year run. They can't do that.
This is not an upset. Minnesota's better team. They're deeper.
They are deeper. That's for sure. Well, JJ told us by what he did yesterday that they're deeper.
The Lakers sacrificed depth to get Luka Doncic. This is not surprising that they're struggling in the first round because they only have 3 good players and they don't have any bigs. They don't have any defense and they got a rookie coach. This is a process. It's going to take time. It's not Luka's fault. It's not LeBron's fault. No. They sacrificed this season's depth to go get Luka Doncic, which they should have done.
We understand, yeah.
And you're seeing the results play out here. Minnesota, I don't know, and look, they got their ass kicked by Dallas last year in the playoffs, and that's still shocking to me. I thought Minnesota was going to win that series in 5 games. The Timberwolves are a better basketball team than they showed in the second round when they got thumped by the Mavericks last year, when Luka's calling Snoop a motherfucker because they're kicking the Timberwolves' asses. That was great. Reality's playing out. The Lakers don't have a great team. They have 2 great players and not much else. And Minnesota's playing as well as it should have been playing in the playoffs last year.
Amen.
And who knows, Minnesota may shit the bed next week in the second round. This series ain't over, by the way, but at this point, LeBron, as drag ass as he is, Luka had the squirts and couldn't barely take a jump shot in Game 3. The Lakers are all but cooked at this point. Thank you, Russ. I saw that donation a second ago.
Every day you tune in and they just want to talk about the Lakers.
So don't blame the superlative Luka Doncic. Right. This ain't his fault. They're down 1-3. I want to punch every motherfucker that said I didn't know what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, punch him, Mike.
All fall. When I came on here every Monday.
Every Saturday after the game, yeah.
And said that Quinn Ewers ain't a dog. That Quinn Ewers is overrated as fuck. That I don't like his body language. I think he's lost his fastball. His fastball was his swagger. It's hard enough to play the position, as we know. You cannot lose your swagger. You cannot change who you are as a person. Quinn Ewers was a redneck boy from Fort Worth, Texas, with a mullet, and transferred to Austin, Texas, and cut the hair and changed his persona.
There's power in the hair,
Mike. Got real corporate. And look, the hair don't make the man, but it symbolizes a change in his personality when he got to UT. He tried to be somebody he's not. He's a country boy from Tarrant County. You saw the room he was sitting in with all the antlers and shit in the background.
I thought he was at Bass Pro Shops.
That's Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers has first-round talent, but he is not a long-term starter in the NFL. And you know who agrees with me? The NFL. Because his ass didn't go to the 7th round, and he's crying. He wasn't crying because he was happy he got drafted. His ass was crying because he slipped more than Shedeur Sanders did.
Which was tough to do.
Quinn Ewers got drafted after Will Howard. He got drafted after Jalen Milroe. He got drafted after everybody else that got drafted. Was he the last quarterback picked in the draft?
Good question.
The NFL agrees with me. Quinn Ewers is Jay Cutler. He's a spare.
So punch everybody
and everybody
knows. Because the Longhorn fan base was truly divided on that.
Mm-hmm.
I
know. I got called an idiot all year long. You're just a hater, Taylor. Quit pretending you like the Longhorns because Orlando Kell's producing your show, promoting your show. Thank you to Orlando Kell.
Thank you.
By the way, because he's doing this segment. And Orlando agrees with me, by the way.
Does he?
He agrees on Quinn, yeah. Quinn's really solid. And he was surrounded by – how many kids got drafted at Texas this week? 12?
Was it?
11?
I don't know.
He was the 12th guy to get picked by Texas. 4 or 5 more got picked up on undrafted free agent deals. Surrounded by bad motherfuckers.
By the way, Rudy, since you were asking earlier, a lot of universities had 2 wide receivers taken.
Oh, well, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas.
No, you'll be shocked by these schools.
South Carolina,
Iowa State, 2nd and a 3rd rounder. Colorado, 2 6th rounders. Right. Ole Miss, a 4th and a 2nd rounder. TCU, a 2nd and a 3rd rounder. And Georgia, a 4th and a 7th.
Mm-hmm. Zach Beck, Frog, white boy.
And Quinn Ewers was the last quarterback.
Can I get a second punch before we get out of here?
Yeah.
This dipshit, the son, the dipshit son
the defensive coordinator
of the Falcons defensive coordinator. Yeah, I want to punch the 21-year-old dipshit son of Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich. Was it Jax?
Yeah.
Jax Ulbrich. For looking at his daddy's laptop, getting Shedeur's phone number that was supposed to
because the only reason why we found out because the NFL investigated it. The NFL was like, those numbers were private.
Yeah. And
shouldn't have been let out. How did this happen? So they had to come clean.
It was, God, you talk about rubbing salt. The poor Shedeur.
And he bit it. He took the bait.
I know. And because,
first of all, I'm all for a good prank, Mike. And it was a great prank.
It was funny.
But you can't be.
Dude, yeah. It got sad. Whatever you think about Shedeur Sanders' personality, it got sad at that point.
And the idiots rolled tape on it. They recorded themselves doing it and posted it.
Right. Well, because they were live twitching.
Yeah.
Because the Sanders, everything they do is on the internet. Yep. Everything they do is on the internet, which is part of the reason why his ass slipped in the draft.
Yeah.
Not the only reason, but one of the many reasons. But that jackass, the NFL might ought to take away a draft pick from Atlanta for that shit.
Yeah, they've already said they're not going to punish them.
Well, and the kid released an apology. Bullshit. If you're not, I love how
you're sorry because you got caught.
You're sorry you got caught. Missed me with how sincere you were, because it was 2 days ago is when you did this. It wasn't like it was last year, and you've grown as a person since then. Right. That Falcons defensive coordinator, and that kid's 21. He's a grown ass man. He ought to have his ass kicked for that.
Yeah,
that was wrong. That was messed up.
That was messed up.
Messed up. All right, if you got a messed up family situation, Orlando Kell does family law. The official family man, the official family lawyer up in the building is Orlando Kell. Call this man, 210-775-4995. You can email Orlando directly if you need a family lawyer. You can hit him up at orlandokell.law@gmail.com, orlandokell.law@gmail.com. All right, we got a members only coming up here. What y'all think, 11:30?
Sure.
11, I give you 30 minutes to chill. I got to take a leak bad. All that coffee I drink that I couldn't spend, all that bad coffee that I couldn't use cash to buy. I got to go and let it all. Love y'all hard. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for all the contributions, the views, and the clicks and the likes. If you're a member, it's next show is just for you. If you're not a member, tough shit. You got 30 minutes to become one. You got Love Your Heart TV on YouTube. You join. It's $4.99. That's it. My coffee was $4 after the tip. $4.99 to become a member to watch the next show. Love Your Heart TV 30 minutes.